you and your wife have been absolutely incredible, Dick, to work with here. And as I said, when you reached out to me, it was, I want people to know that it's really, there's two parts to this, is that you have a restaurant that you're being trespassed upon, that they're coming into now and telling you that you've got to put the massive stuff up. But there's also this other part of it that's outside on the property where you reached out to help all these people. There's about 20 people, is it, that didn't have a place to go, and you've brought them onto your property and provided them with free water. And can you talk to a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, my background is construction, like I said, and I did a lot of subdivision, and I know how to lay pipes, and I'm an electrician and plumber. So I service the land. It's done properly. It's done for the safety of people. And then we service about 12, which they're couples. Some of them are single. And if somebody comes in, we don't refuse anybody. If they have the money, well, that's all good. If they don't, we work with them. It's okay. It's not by skinning people alive or anything like that. We're trying to be very reasonable with everything. And there's a lot of time they don't have the funds. So we allow the time, or we allow them to live and take care of themselves so they can take care of others. So that's what we do.
But the thing is that because we done all the work all on our own, the corporations are after us because we did not buy permits from them. And as long as you don't have any permit, you don't do anything right. That's right. How they see it.
That's right.
It's just like me. I never been to school to become a chef, but I have 43 years behind me in the cooking industry, in the commercial kitchen. Yep. So really, do I need a diploma to be able to cook? Yeah. That's what's happening. So, and of course now, 2 days ago, they sent us the RCMP.
Guys, so I'm going to do a share screen here and just to show everyone. So what had happened is that Dick and Yoda, they were under incredible trespassing that was occurring by these people from multiple service corporations, be it the British Columbia government, or be it what's this other place called Island Health that we're going to look at here. So let me just kind of just show everybody how we work through the process. What Dick and Yoda have done now here is they've understood, as he said too, that makes me feel so happy when someone says to me it brought a form of peace and calm into their life, because they were under such attack from these people. And that's exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing, right? It's this simple for everybody to understand. And that's why we're really having a conversation, and it has to leave here and it has to go into the real world. So I'm just going to share my screen here with everybody so you can see it. And there it is here. So this is the first letter. I'll get my picture out of the way here. This is the first letter that Dick and Yoda got, or actually the second later. And basically, oh, son of a gun. Paul?
Actually, that's the last one. We had a few before that.
Yes.
Yes.
You guys can't see the letter now, right, Paul?
We can. No, we can.
Oh, see, this is what's buggering me up, because I can't see anything. So that's good. So if you can see it, that's terrific. Let me keep talking. You can still see Yoda and Dick?
Yep.
Beautiful. Okay, just so you know, at my end, my screen's blank. It's black. Okay, so it starts at the top here. Dear Mrs. Penn, I won't try and say your name there, Yoda, but it basically says, we received your letter dated December 21st, 2020. Please be advised this correspondence has been forwarded to Island Health's legal department. Ooh, for review. As everybody knows by now, legal doesn't apply to a man or woman, okay? Only lawful does. And unless they have a contract with this service corporation called Island Health, then none of their agents or officers have any damn business coming onto their property and trying to administrate property without right. So right away, they start hitting you with it. Environmental health officers are designated under Section 78.2 of the Public Health Act with the mandate to protect public health by carrying out inspections on premises to ensure compliance with the Public Health Act as its regulations in British Columbia. Remember, that's a service corporation. Inspection powers of health officer are outlined in Section 24, the right, blah, blah, blah. See, so this is what they do. They hammer you with all this stuff. Then they go, no, currently, there are 2 outstanding orders. Now, remember, if any man or woman gives you an order, you have a right to give them a bill back at the end of it if you're going to carry out that order for them. Just remember that. But in this case, we want to prevent these people from coming onto this property honorably again. We want to have this conversation with them, and we're not going to allow their ignorance to continue to trespass against Yota and Dick. So when you see, again, they're going into point number 1 here, the Public Health Act, Contravention Order, right? When you go down a little bit further here, it says Drinking Water Protection Act, Contravention Order, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know, all these things don't apply to us. And what I'll jump to next is that after they got this first, well, this was the first letter, they got a couple of letters before. The first letter they got from a man by the name of Ian that works for CVRD. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yes. And that stands for the local municipality you're basically your local, like the city of Burlington. That's the local municipality for you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what happened is that I don't have their letter up here at the moment, but they got a very similar again from one of their bylaw officers who trespassed on them. This is what started all of this stuff in their restaurant and their property. So what we got next was a letter here from the lawyer that they've just retained, because this happened after we sent the first notice to the police involved in this and everyone, so that they were aware not to trespass. So this came to Dick and Yoda on the 29th of December. And it says, I blocked out their names here. It says, to whom it may concern, contravention of Coquitlam Valley Regional District bylaws, our file number 154-128. Now, here we go. We are the legal counsel. Now, the reason that the lawyer got retained now, okay, is because Ian, who's the head of this service corporation, CVRD, we sent a notice to him and basically told him you're going to be liable if you don't stop the agents and officers under your control from trespassing. So he went and lawyered up, and then trying to act all tough like, you know, we're going to put a little bit of pressure on these wonderful people. I'm going to send the lawyers after you. Well, all you know by now that legal doesn't apply to a man or a woman, and we really don't care what lawyers have to say, unless you've got a contract with their service corporation. So it describes their lot and stuff, and then he goes into it. We are advised that there are bylaw violations occurring on the properties, and on behalf of the regional district, require that you take immediate steps to remedy these violations. Specifically, we are instructed that you have permitted at least 13 recreational vehicles to be parked on properties by third parties, most of which appear to be occupied for habitation purposes. Boy, isn't that a terrible thing? Dick and Yoda are reaching out to their fellow man and woman, and they're trying to provide a safe place that the people can call home for them as they're going through a very difficult time in this world right now. Boy, I'll tell you, Yoda and Dick, you guys are awful people for doing that. Anyways, it's the same garbage when you read into this, and all of these files are going to be uploaded onto my website. I want Dick and Yoda to know that I've put up a new case file for them now on warriorcalls.com, and there's where you can find the original notices, the letters, the communications, so you can follow. This has been done for all businesses, so you can see and learn how to communicate properly back to these people. So once you realize that you have no contract with this man who's writing from a law firm, and even the people that he represents, that you have no contract with them, you don't give a rat's, pardon my language, ass what he writes in here, because it's all this pursuant to section 2.2 of some zoning bylaw, and then they're threatening to avoid enforcement action. You know, you got to bring the properties into compliance, right? We go back to this line again. Who could administrate property without right? Nobody can. So why are they making all these draconian orders? Well, this is this system that's been around us for a long time. And this is why the fight and the truth that finally needs to get in the hearts and minds of every man and woman, not just in business, but right around this world, is that we are not property and that legal does not apply to us. And anytime you get a letter from a lawyer, you know that man has no jurisdiction over you, and neither does the garbage he's putting on pen to paper, unless you have a contract with the corporation that he's representing. And that's how simple it is. So you can read all this stuff on the file to understand what's going on. What I want to show you here is, I haven't brought up the letters yet. Just 2 seconds, people. How's the weather in British Columbia right now? Because it's cold as hell here, Dick and Yoda.
Hey, it's about 6, 7 degrees, 8 degrees.
And rainy.
Oh, that's not too warm.
Yeah.
That's not too warm. Okay, here it is here. All right. So here's the I'll give you the first notice that we sent to Ian McDonald. All right, I'll just take this stuff up here at the top. Sorry. Excuse me for a second here. Get the okay, so this is the first notice here. This is the first communication that went to Ian, the man who acts sometimes as general manager for CVRD. This is, again, a service corporation, the municipality. So again, I'm not going to go, it's very simple. It's the same letter in which I've drilled down even more than I originally started this broadcast with, showing people for businesses. This has a little bit more meat and potatoes on it because it has the names and the people that are involved in this. So again, it starts out with, there's the date, trespass. Ian McDonald and people under his control. That's what it's regarding. And notice liability. This was the first notice that they got. This letter is to a man who sometimes acts as general manager, service of Coetchuan Valley Regional. Thursday, November 26, 2020 at 2 p.m., agents under Ian control trespassed without right. This man is Nino Morano acting as agent under Ian control, right? I demand post haste, and here comes the three questions. Ian produced written verifiable evidence with wet signature that I, Ian, any man or woman under your control claim I property. Ian or any man or woman under your control can administrate property without right. And the last point is the obligation contract with the Service Corporation, CVRD, to jurisdiction, which means control over I or property. Now, see, we don't have to have the fourth point here because the police aren't involved. These people aren't in law enforcement, and there is no verified claim that Dick and Yoda have breached the peace. So this is how simple it is. And then you continue to go on to address what the trespass was. Further terrorism occurred when Nino, that was this man acting as bylaw officer for the Service Corporation, CVRD, occurred when Nino trespassed against people living on site, witnessed by many people. Nino approached these people and left a letter addressed to me, that was to Yota, at their doors, causing pain, scaring them to the point of tears, telling them they have to move when they have no other place to go. Right? How horrible are some of these people that work for these service corporations? They get these little candy ass outfits, bylaw officers, and all of a sudden they walk around and they think that they're God. This is how you put them back in their place. Okay. Nino has no jurisdiction on my property or business to contact any of these people seeking help. That's fact. Unless evidence produced is required, Ian and Nino will be liable if trespass occurs again without right. This is a direct reflection on Ian McDonald, who is now on notice. See attached. Anything less towards Nino being fired immediately from this service, CVRD, means Ian condones trespass terrorism. So you just don't let them go on what their staff is doing. You say, what this man's done, he's causing wrong and harm, operating under your control, and you need to hold him accountable for it. Again, we ask him for a written apology on the public record is owed to these people needing help, and I require same. Further, any man or woman who shows up inside my property, business, or home from Service CVRD, Ian McDonald will bear all liability for trespass as a man. Again, whoever the man or woman that's acting as mayor or the head of these service corporations, that's who you go after. You don't play this legal game and try and sue this CVRD corporation because there's no remedy in that. All that is involved in that is that the lawyer's going to make a hell of a lot of money and you're going to wind up eating it at the end of the day. Again, my counselor at law, trespass is $25,000 per agent officer under Ian McDonald or from any service CVRD agent attempting to administrate property without right. Trespass fines are in place as of today, December the 14th, 2020. Now, you can change these numbers anytime, which I've recently done, which I'm going to be talking with Dick about after we hang up this call, as you're going to see with the actual picture, the wonderful signage that they finally put up, which I want to tell you, Dick and Noda, a lot of people have seen the signage you've done, and they're falling right behind your suit now. We've got several restaurants and businesses in Burlington that are doing it because they see this is the way forward. So then it just ends here. My counselor at law has advised if trespass, because I'm a counselor at law, okay, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not part of that repugnant society called the bar, okay, a private society. I stand up and protect my fellow man and woman. I don't deal in the world of the dead. I don't deal in legal fictions, okay? I'm not bound by rules, codes, or statutes, and I sure as hell am not going to allow my fellow man to be bound by the rules of civil procedure, because that's all the bar's got that they've been using against us and these people wearing the black robes. So anybody that's trying to, try and use this legal system on you, saying you have to do charter rights or constitutional challenges, or you've got a great case here from the bylaws and all stuff, it's nonsense, people. Run from it. So again, it ends with, I trust this is crystal clear to the man Ian McDonald and all under his control. And then it says, I will swear under oath or affirmation that all herein be true. Again, it lays it out here. And then here's the basic notice that we talked about here. The very first one that I showed at the top of the show. The next one that we go to, this is the second. Okay, notice liability. This is on January the 5th. Okay, the first one was December the 14th. They did not respond, so we sent off a second notice liability, and it's the same. I hereby give second notice liability. The first notice liability dated December the 14th, 2020, Ian received. Thursday, November 26th, again, you go right back to this trespass that's occurring. It's basically the very same communication again. Well, then what happened after that? Well, what happened after that was, where is it? Yeah. What happened after that was the letter. Okay. That's when the lawyer got involved that sent to them on December the 29th, right? Just to hit them just before New Year's. This is what the lawyers like to do. You know, they always like to rub everybody before a weekend or before something special that we, the people, are all enjoying, or at least trying to enjoy with our friends and family. But this kind of backfired on them because, well, how should we say? Let me just bring this up here right now. Redacted Matthew. So here's the letter. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay, because again, my screen's blank here on me. So here's the letter that I created and I wrote, and now I'm stepping into the fray of things. Okay, starts at the top, Christopher James, counselor at law, and then this is care of Yota with their address and everything like that. So here's Matthew Arvoil. He sometimes acts as a lawyer. Let me, you know what I've realized is that when I do this, it's very difficult for people to read. And I apologize to everybody in the past. I really, truly apologize. When I go back and look at some of this stuff on BitChute and then the algorithms that they use and the compression that's going on in the video, hell, most people can't even read these documents. So I truly, truly apologize for that. So hopefully here tonight, you guys are going to be able to see it all, no problem. So as you can see, it starts at the top, same letter format as always. And then we get into, here's Matthew, the lawyer, right, that Ian has hired, but it's also going to Ian as well. We copy them both on it. Dated January the 8th, 2021. Regard trespass. Ian McDonald and people under his control. Again, at that, I won't try and say that name again at CVRD. First and second notice, liability. Okay, we're bringing it all on the mat. And obviously the third thing is Matthew R. Voel, the later dated December the 29th, which we went over earlier. It says, good day, Matthew and Ian. Now, this is how you write to them, okay? Once you understand who you are, and once you understand the power of those three sentences in the fourth one, if you're dealing with police, this is a communication that you would write to any man or woman that's working for any service corporation, okay, that's trying to come and trespass or administrate property without right. See, it's very simple. People must get tired of me saying it, but it's that powerful. Get it in your heart, your minds, and soul. So here it goes. I, Christopher James, am counselor at law assisting Yota, addressing verified trespass. Very simple. I am in receipt of your letter dated December the 29th, 2020. I will address honorably so Matthew and Ian are crystal clear on how law are crystal clear on law, not legal, which does not apply to people. I always like to stick it to them where I can, right, when I'm dealing with these bar members. I require the obligation, which means contract, produced relied to any jurisdiction control over Yota or her property. Matthew has communicated a service corporation, CVRD, has retained your services. Congratulations, Matthew. I'm so happy for you. What the hell does that have to do with Yota, Dick, or me? Nothing. Other than that fact, produce the obligation. Remember, obligation means contract. Matthew or Ian relies for said service corporation to any, I hope this is all shown in there, any jurisdiction. Reference to a presumed bylaw violations, and then I quote them. You quote them, whatever violations they're pointing to in their letters, okay, so that they can't turn this around on you. The violation sections 4.71, etc., zoning bylaw, local government act violations. Remember, act, statutes, codes, rules, or regulations. Yes, that word. Who wrote that? Okay, whoever wrote that must believe, or whoever's trying to apply that to you, that Yota and Dick are obviously property of this man or woman that wrote these acts or codes or violations, or Dick or Yota have what? A contract, an obligation with the service corporation. And we all know none of us have a service corporation contract with any of these people. And don't be fooled that because you went and took out a license with them, that's what they're going to say to you. Well, you took out a license with us. You rescind that license in a heartbeat. Because the second that this other information you've learned at wasn't disclosed, they have no jurisdiction to be doing what they're doing. Again, reference to a presumed bylaw and the violations, etc. The local government act violations or offenses have no lawful standing over any woman or property without consent or obligation with signature. Legal does not apply to people or their property, only lawful requiring consent or contract for such presumptions. Ignorance of the law, common, is no excuse, so learn the difference between legal and lawful jurisdiction. This is me writing to the lawyer. If Matthew has verified claim Yota trespass causing wrong or harm to another woman, then produced it post haste. And he said, well, wait a second, Chris. You're talking about that now, but the police aren't involved. Why did you put that there? Well, I'm putting it to Matthew. You got a verified claim from someone that works for the service corporation, CVRD, that Yota and Dick have trespassed against them, causing wrong or harm? Because that's another way he could be contacting them, right? Hey, you trespassed against this agent or officer of the service corporation. You're liable to us for it, right? But obviously that doesn't pull any water or weight at what we're doing here. And it says it goes into the 4 questions again. Otherwise, Matthew nor Ian have standing or any service corporation's agents who make such demands without right. If your clients wish to enter into a contract with Yota, her terms, you're going to love this, are provided in the second notice, liability attached. I, and I bold all this, require Matthew answer the below. Seeing your client can't respond yes as required or produce obligation. That was a dig to Ian because he didn't respond after the first notice, and he's supposed to be a public servant, right? He's supposed to be acting honorably at all times. And when he has a wonderful couple like Yota and Dick write to him, and they're basically putting the truth in front of him, he has a duty and obligation to respond back in writing, not go like a little coward and run along to some little sissy lawyer and trying to get him to come down on Yota and Dick. And that's going nowhere because Yota and Dick now have the knowledge. They have the education and the same knowledge that they have within their hearts. That's exactly why we're doing this tonight, so that all of you have it. There's the 3 questions again. It comes up time and time again. You should be able to speak it verbatim now. Who is the man or woman acting at CRVD? Always just change out whoever the service corporation name is. Who claim Yota? Property. Who is this woman Matthew believes can administrate property without right? Produce the obligation contract. The service corporation CVRD relies to jurisdiction. Control over I or property. Again, trespass, terrorism occurred. You go into it. Any woman that trespassed, it's the same thing, but this is when we get into it. The 3rd line down here, any orders placed. Remember, when you go to McDonald's and you place an order and that man or woman goes back there and they honorably carry out that order for you, what do you get? You get a bill, people. That applies outside of McDonald's or Burger King or any restaurant. That's real world. That's contract law between a man and a woman. You cannot compel or demand that a man or woman performs a certain duty or service to you and that they are not somehow justly and fairly compensated. And that man or woman gets to, because your body is your person, is your property, don't forget. So you have every right to make the terms up, whatever you're going to charge your fee for. So we make a fee up that they're not going to want to engage or contract with us at all. And if they do, well, Dick and Yoda are going to be flying me down or flying me to Hawaii, and we're all going to have one hell of a wonderful vacation together. Why? Well, because any orders placed, the fee schedule applies to contract, $100 per second to complete said orders. You want to give Dick and Yoda orders? That's fine. They're more than happy to compel to perform them, but it's going to be $100 a second. And further, a deposit of $200,000 minimum required for any orders to proceed under contract with CVRD. That hits them right between the eyes. I trust this is crystal clear to liability in any future orders Ian or CVRD wish to submit. No man or woman's property nor can be compelled to perform without contract or trespass occurs. That's what I was just talking about. Contract makes the law. The fees to contract or trespass is established to avoid further contract honorably. Okay, pardon me, to avoid further conflict honorably, because that's what we're ultimately about here. What Dick and Yoda have done now, we've put pen to paper, we've put the signage up, which you're going to see in a second here, and we've honorably written to these people, and we've put it in very plain, powerful English. If you're trying to administrate over us or order us to do, these are our terms or conditions, or you better produce the obligation upon which you rely to come onto our property and act in such an ignorant and arrogant way. Okay? And again, contract makes the law. The fees to contract or trespass is established, again, to avoid further conflict honorably. Govern yourself and guide said clients under your control accordingly. I will swear under oath or affirmation that all herein said be true. Counselor at law. There's a second notice liability that they got. Okay. It says here fines at $25,000. Well, we changed that up because they weren't stopping. Here's the second notice that they came into. Now, this is actually what I want to do is I'll put this up onto a picture. Can you guys still see the screen? Can you still see the screen, Paul?
Yes.
Yes, Chris, absolutely. We can see.
Okay, let me bring this back up again here. I'll try refresh. Okay, I'm refreshed back up. There I am. Sorry about that, guys. I got a bunch of windows I'm playing with here at once, so to speak. So let me bring up. Where's that picture? I'm sorry. Did I just close it out when I shut that window down? I must have. What a dummy I am. Where's the picture? We got it here on the slide. No, of course it doesn't give it to me there. Well, what I'll do is I'll just share the screen with what I've got here. Man, I'll tell you, this thing is really. Okay, so here it is here, people. Here it is here.
You're doing a lot of work, so it's okay.
Yep, it's okay. So what we did was, I'll scroll it down here a bit. I'll scroll it up a bit. Dick and Yoda put up a first sign of no trespassing, okay, at the front of the property. And then I told them, in order to complete this and being honorable, is you want to put around your property, especially on your doors before they walk in, so that everybody is crystal clear. If they're an agent or officer coming from a municipality, coming from the RCMP, okay, you meet them at that door, and they better damn well have an obligation in their hand, or they better have a verified claim. Sorry? Oh, and they better verify, they better have a claim that's basically telling them that that you've caused wrong or harm to another man or woman. And this is the notice of liability. Everything that we've talked about here is right here in this notice. See how powerful that is? When you get to the bottom, it says trespass fine is now set at $100,000 per woman involved. I upped it because, you know, we wrote to them initially trying to settle this, you know, honorably between the lawyers and that just before Christmas there. And then they came back and they tried to lawyer up and even come down even further and harder on them. So if they're going to do that, then we lay the gauntlet down with them. This is what's going to happen if you come onto our property and there's not a court in this land. When you see the jury of your peers, that is not going to side with Dick and Yoda here. All right. They've given notice honorably to these people. We wish to be left. That's ultimately what this document is saying. I have a right to be left alone and to enter and engage and contract and enjoy the liberty on this land with my fellow man and woman. And there is no people from a service corporation that have a right, a third party, to come in and trespass against us and impose all these draconian rules or measures because they choose to be ignorant. And in this regard, not only to law, but more importantly to this COVID-19 lie. And I would say to Dick and Yoda and any restaurant out there that's hearing me speak about this, or any gym, you should get this video that I put up at the top of this, along with the Dr. Roger Hodgkins' son from Edmonton, the short clip with him when he came onto the municipal council meeting. And you should be playing that in your restaurants 24/7. Let people hear that. Let people see that. Okay, the people need to wake up. Or if you don't want to ruin their dinner with that, then at least give them a link. Give them a little piece of paper before they leave so that they can see, you know, this is actually what's going on. Because it's very, very powerful when you understand. Can you guys see me there, Paul?
No, you went missing, but we see the trespass. There. Yeah. Now we see the December 29th, 2020.
Sorry, I'm just trying to clean them all up here. Oh, there it's coming.
There you go.
Apologize about that. This computer screen. I've got another camera coming, people. The camera that I bought a while ago is absolutely, I'll stop sharing here. The camera that I had before, well, I still have right now is a Brio 4K, and it's very intensive on your processor. And I have a older system that I built here, and I believe this may also be part of the problem. So I was hoping the new camera is going to be here for today, but it'll be here tomorrow, and I'll be good to go for Wednesday night's live stream. So I would just like to bring, you know, Yoda and them back on and just and let them know here, you know, that what we're doing here is very, I wish we could find a way, Paul, to get this to, how do I get that? Am I able to remove these other screens?
No, unfortunately, that's the downside of this as well.
Ah, okay. Well, like I said, it's
yours. Like this is the only way.
Okay. Well, anyways, it's all good. And like I said, this is why it's important that people see in real time what a wonderful couple like Yoda and Dick are doing. They're reaching out, helping their fellow man and woman. They're being attacked by the system based on all this law, these lies, and obviously this ignorance that exists within our fellow man. I've talked to Yoda and Dick long enough that I know that they don't have an evil bone in their body. These are truly lovely, incredible people. They love their fellow man. They're here to make a difference in this world. And I take my hat off to you for stepping up and understanding. And like I said, when you said earlier, I'll go back to it again, that when you got this knowledge and I reached out to you here to get this done, that made me feel so happy when you said that, you know, this peace came over you, that you finally felt relieved, because I know what it's like for 20 years when I was chasing down this truth, you know, not quite having this monkey off my back and always going into these courthouses. But then once I learned the simplicity and the power of what I was speaking to, and you don't allow anybody else to take the conversation, especially these people acting in police capacities, you do not allow them to take this off. Okay. You don't go off your square. You stay on that square. So are you still seeing me now, Paul?
No, try to just hit your refresh in your browser, like as if you refresh this page.
Yeah, that doesn't do it. Talking. But it comes back on here. We're going to be having once this all gets done, we're going to grab this software that we've been using here, and we're going to have a real go at it, aren't we, Paul?
That's okay.
But anyways, guys, I want to thank you both for being on here tonight. It was a pleasure to have you come on here.
Thank you.
and speak to the people. Is there anything you would like to give a message to not only your fellow man and woman in where you live in British Columbia? They're a wonderful, wonderful land on, in Canada here, but to the world, because ultimately the same message that I'm giving to everybody, I wish for you to also share with everyone, because the same thing's happening to you as to so many other people that are being trespassed upon.
Of course. For 3 months, they were really manipulating my mind. They were really coming on me very, very hard, until one day I just stumbled on one of your videos. And I said to Dick, we have to. And then we saw you on the videos that you were with the water situation right where you live. And I said, hey, it's the hope here. We're not by ourselves. They keep doing it everywhere in the world. So what I'm going to say to every fellow man and woman, do not allow anyone to put you down in any way and manipulate you. Stand up your grounds, just like you said. Stand up on your square, stay there, and just say, get out.
Yep.
And that's what I have done, and that's what I'm doing. And fortunately, I'm even dealing with clientele now that they complaining that we're not wearing masks and we don't have any this so-called distance and all that. And I just simply say, I don't believe I'm Santa Claus.
Yep.
Nothing is really happening. Nothing really happening.
I think COVID-19 is a positive thing for people to come together and to understand their rights. For too many years, the system is fooling people, and it's lying. It's lying after lies that they give us, and on every possible way, the municipality, any form of government, starting from the municipality, provincial and federal, and the police that are paid to say things that, or breaking the law themselves constantly. I think an RCMP, especially on the island, breaks the law daily. They abuse the Aboriginal, they beat them up, and they don't have too much ways of defending themselves. I think COVID-19 hopefully will wake up some people. And it's time to wake up and stand for the right and stop the lies. Just stop the lies. And yourself, you cannot lie and misrepresent things. You have to be as straight as it is possible. And, and ask the Lord to help you with this, because it's a hard thing to do, not to lie and to be firm and fair. And be fair to your fellow men, because without the people around us, we're social animals. We need everybody.
Yep, that's wonderfully said. And that's ultimately what this is about. It's about love. Love is the most powerful thing. And the simple core truths that I've provided with you, that we've provided here tonight, from the beginning of this show right to the end of it, it's all anyone needs to understand right now. You have to understand the first and foremost thing is we've been lied to. Not so much as, when we've taken that first breath, but we've ultimately been lied to in this world. Has that gone off again, Paul?
Yes. Yeah, your camera did.
Well, like I said, it's very, very frustrating. Let me just do a quick panic and I'll bring everybody right acts or bylaws or violations or offenses that they're going to be looking at, blah, blah, blah. So it's the same letter that went to him, both Matthew, the lawyer, and Ian, and also Sean. You always respond to all of them honorably. They all got the same letter. All right. It's basically the same thing that was in the first letter. Again, all of the stuff will be up there for everybody to understand. The only thing that was different in the actual communication was I was referencing different bylaws that he had referenced in his letter. So it's that simple, people. When you understand that the power of words is very powerful when you know how to use them. And that's where my fellow man has been hung up. We've all been lied to. We've never been given these foundational truths. And once you have these in your armament, so to speak, it allows you to make a communication. It doesn't matter who is facing you. Just remember, it's a man or a woman, and they're always acting in a role. And the second they're acting in a role, doesn't matter what it is, police officer, judge, fireman, just a guest, just a client showing up at your door, they're acting in a capacity where they've got duties and obligations. Not so much if it's someone, a client showing up at the restaurant, but they're on your property, and they do have duties and obligations to not trespass or breach the peace while they're inside your restaurant or your establishment or your gym. It's this simple. Okay. And this is what makes me so happy is that, I said the smartest guy at marble in the bowl, I always say, and here's these people here that are a little bit older than me, and they've got this. They grabbed and they understood this very quickly. And this is what I wish with all my heart everyone else there can hopefully and simply understand, because that's how simple this is. Okay. Know that we're being lied to, hit people with the evidence of the lie. Maybe we'll try and drop a real powerful statement sheet, but it's always best when you can show that video to people who have time. You obviously can't do that, if a police officer, a man there's in front of you and he's trying to give you tickets or arrest you. That's a different scenario you got to step into. But if they've got the time, everybody out there, as I said earlier, take the preemptive action and send these communications and these links to the heads of the police department. Send them the stuff showing Simone there that's exposing what's actually going on with this COVID and the hydroxychloroquine, the whole psyops that's going on in this world. Send them a few key core links. They need to see this, and they need to understand they need to stand with us, because we are fighting amongst ourselves out here within the system, and the people that have actually engineering it and promoting and instigating this enormous wrong and harm against us, well, they're the people at the tops of these heads of these service corporations, and we need the police to arrest them. Okay. And that's where this is going. So God bless you both. Thank you very much for being here this evening. And I look forward to, I'll be talking with you again tomorrow again. And like I said, thank you for all you're doing on behalf of everyone in Canada. You're truly a light to this world.
Thank you for what you're doing for us. We appreciate you and we love you. And it's nice to see that you helping not only us, but other people too.
You make it simple.
Thank you. Simple, and God bless everyone.
Well, thank you. And let's hope that the simplicity gets in the hearts and minds of everyone else. What we've showed you here tonight, everyone, this is how simple it is, right? You've got the evidence on the lie. You see, it's really 3 questions always in business. And you only bring that 4th question in when the police are involved. If you've got a man there standing in front of you wearing an outfit with a gun around him, you want to make damn sure that he knows exactly the square that you're standing on and the jurisdiction, and where his jurisdiction ends, where your rights and everything else begin. Okay. So on that note, God bless everybody. It was a pleasure to look at that. Always does it to me right at the end here. I'll tell you, Paul. Anyways, I don't know if you guys can see me, but my screen's gone blank here. So
yeah,
I would just like to state, everybody, thank you so much. I really would like to bring this back in here for the end. I'll try the. There it goes. Well, that works. Good. Anyways, on that note, Yoda and Dick, love you with all my heart. I'll be in touch with you a bit later today or tomorrow. I'll get that. We've got a letter that's got to go to the RCMP, these 2 officers that walked into their property on Saturday, was it, or Friday? I'm not quite sure, but look at that. This bugger just will not. So anyways, it's been a pleasure for seeing you all here this evening, everyone. And again, thank you so much for being here with me this evening. And I'm going to be back again on Wednesday night. This is my newest edition. If you've registered already, please come back and register at the link to Wednesday evenings. I'm going to be speaking Monday at 8 p.m., Wednesday at 8 p.m., and Thursdays at 8 p.m. And I'm probably going to add another night, possibly on the weekend, because this whole attack on humanity right now is ramping up, and we need to ride out and meet it. And this is the best way that I can do it. So God bless everyone. Thank you for being with me here tonight. And Paul, if you want to just run us out with our good friend, Mr. Mal, I'd appreciate it. God bless. I'll see everybody on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock.
Thank you.